Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I'm going to take a little time today to do a book review for you guys. Now, when people get into preparedness or start their journey into preparedness, there's a couple different avenues that they take. They'll either talk to somebody who's already into preparedness, they'll look at either videos or blogs or the information that's on the internet, and the other way is through books. So preparedness books are a great reference when it comes to either skills or kind of how to get your ducks in a row when you're getting into preparedness. And survival and preparedness author Jim Cobb, who is a friend of mine, provided me with a copy of his latest book. And this book hasn't even been released yet here in the U.S., so this is sort of an advanced copy. And he let me have a copy of this book so I could do a review on it for you guys. And if you don't know anything about Jim is... he's got different groups online. He's been in the preparedness game a long time as an author and has put out different works throughout the years. And I've always looked at Jim as a bit of a Walter Cronkite of the preparedness world. There's a certain amount of authenticity and I guess just a solid character about him when he's writing stuff. Like I said, I've known Jim online for quite some time now, and he's always got a way of injecting reality into the preparedness world. And there's a lot of tangents when it comes to preparedness that people get off on, but Jim's always got a way of turning those tangents back to a realistic path, so to speak. And this book here that he provided with me to look at is pretty much a straightforward book. It only took me a couple of evenings to go through everything in this book, and it's sort of no nonsense. It goes basically right to the point. One of the things that I did enjoy in this book when I was reading it is that it was a little bit of the history of preparedness. And he mentioned a couple of names in there, one in particular, Kurt Saxton. And if anybody's been into preparedness, survivalism for a really long time, Kurt Saxton was a name from way back in the day that put out some different literature and whatnot. And that's, I guess, the whole Kurt Saxton thing, that's a video maybe I'll do separately down the road. But it got into preparedness, kind of what it used to be when I was a kid growing up and I first started reading preparedness stuff, and basically how it has been refined over the years. Preparedness is a lot more mainstream now than what it was even 5 or 6 years ago. There is a certain amount of... there's a certain amount of how preparedness has evolved over the years. You know, it wasn't looked on so kindly back 25, 30 years ago like it is now. And this book touched base on that history a little bit. And I think that that's really important for people that are just starting out to know a little bit of how we got here today. And like I said, this book is no nonsense. It's basically a step-by-step of how to go through and start building a preparedness plan, basically, if you don't know anything about it. Now, for me, that sort of already knows preparedness and has been doing this stuff for a long time, for me, it's a bit of a checklist. When I was reading this book, I was like, yeah, I do that, or, you know, I've done stuff like this before. It is sort of a validation of what I do, and when I look at books like this, I'm always looking for little tidbits of information that I don't know. But for me, it was a real checklist on how I'm doing, basically, you know, because you got somebody that has the legitimacy of Jim here writing a book. And, you know, when you go ahead and you read that, if you're already in the preparedness game and you're already doing stuff in that book, it lets you know that you're sort of on the right path. Hey, I'm doing those things, and it gives me a little bit of a validation, and it's a confidence builder to a certain extent. So those are the two aspects of this book that I guess I really like. There's stuff in here that I've talked about years ago too, stuff like legal preparedness. He's got a whole little section in there about legal preparedness, and that's something that if you've never had to take care of somebody in their final months and weeks of life, that is a preparedness thing, and most people don't think of that. So there's a lot of stuff in there that aren't really the flashy aspects of preparedness, but are extremely crucial. Another thing that was in this book that I thought was really good is it talked about evacuation plans and having plans in place and then practicing those plans. And that rings true to something that I did years ago when my kids were in school, but still teenagers and could kind of fend for themselves. I used to take them on little rides around and say, hey, you know what, if something happens and you got to walk home from school, I want you to take this route here. Hey, there's a certain way you can go through here. Hey, this is a little bit of a shortcut. And this is the kind of information that is in this book. It's stuff that, sort of jarred some things that were in my memory, but they're good places to start. And it's almost set up, the book's almost set up in a way of kind of going, like, hey, do this first, and then and that's how the chapters are kind of set up in my mind anyway when I was reading this. Hey, this is important. You should do this first, and then this, and then this, and it goes through sort of the physical things to have, and then a lot of the mindset and those things. And there's also even a list in the back of this book of, I guess, companies and stuff that he's done business with, and he has used, and it said right in there, I don't have any affiliation with any of these companies, but I've used these companies, and these guys sell, solid gear. And, with the stuff that you order nowadays online, sometimes you don't know, what you're getting from who. It might say it's this, and then it's a counterfeit or something. So that's another aspect that I thought was very good. So this is the book, The Urban Prepper's Guide. And if I got any, gripe with this book, it's the title, because there's a lot of stuff in here that isn't really urban related. I mean, can apply to people in the country, people in small towns, and that kind of stuff as well. I think it's more well-rounded than just for people who live in urban areas. That's just my opinion. Like I said, if that's the information inside, though, is actually golden, and it's broke up in basically color-coded sections. But anyway, it's got a good cover on it as well. But anyway, this is Jim's latest book. It goes on sale on the 30th of August is, I believe, what he told me. And you can pre-order this on Amazon already. And actually, I am going to pass this book around to a couple people that I know who can maybe gain some information from this, because it is set up in that way that even if you don't know as much about preparedness, you can gain some information and kind of prioritize if you want to get into it a little bit deeper. But anyway, I want to thank Jim for letting me have this advanced copy of this book here so I could do a review for you guys. And you kind of guys got my take on this book here. And if there's somebody that can get something out of this book, I wouldn't hesitate to go ahead and get this book. But anyway, I appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys get a little information, a little entertainment out of my videos as always. But this is Modern Refugee, and you guys have a good day.